Okay. All right, guys. We are live for the third time, and it's good to be back. I'm glad to be back here doing this. Now, the title of this stream speaks for itself. It's pretty straightforward what we're going to talk about. I'm going to wait a little bit, see if we can get a couple more people in here before I start talking about it. But already I'm starting to see some great comments from Donovan and Claymores that I absolutely agree with. What is up, guys? Glad to have you here. Claymores, Donovan, Blobbles, Josiah, what's good? Yeah, I think we're gonna have a decent amount to talk about, considering if you happen to live under a rock. Yesterday was CinemaCon. It's CinemaCon for the next couple of days, and they showed the first screening of The Flash yesterday, and whatever people have to say about it, good or bad, it's going to be one of those things I do really think we're going to need to create our own opinion on, since over the past couple of years with comic films, you do hear a lot of hype on movies before they come out. Oh, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's so good, blah, blah, blah. And then when the movie comes out, you end up finding out it's really not that good. So we have to find a way, as my thumbnail suggests, gauging the reactions. So that's what we're going to do here. That's what we're going to do. Diesel Demon, hey T.M.M, what's going on? Josiah says, loved your Black Mask video. Thank you so much, brother. I'm going to really try to do more DC character histories. Usually what I was trying to do was do once a month, and I really just, I couldn't keep up with that. But I'm going to try and do them at least more often. Hello. What is up? What's going on? All right. So as I usually do, on my live streams, I usually like to write everything down because I don't want to lose any important thoughts I might have. And all right, first point. So first of all, I don't know how many people saw the Flash movie last night. I don't know if it was 200, 300, 500 people. I don't know all the lucky people who got to see this movie. Now, with that being said, if you've paid attention to the reactions that have come out since people saw this film, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, it almost seems like 95, 98% of the reactions on this film are either, it is the greatest comic book movie ever created, or if it's not the greatest comic book movie ever created, it is at least a damn good, great, amazing film. Okay? And yes, Donovan, I agree. I see a lot of gatekeeping, he says, and I've noticed that. It seems like a lot of people have been coming out doing nothing but praising the movie. It's almost as if it's like it's too good to be true. And there's something that has been very constant with my opinion on this Flash film. I don't possibly see how a movie that is so filled with production hell for the past 10 years, how it can be this amazing. And maybe it is. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But regardless, there are only a certain amount of people that I've seen, especially on Twitter, who have come out against other judgment on this film and said, look, like, there are moments, but it's really nothing special. It's not the greatest movie I've ever seen. And I appreciate whether or not the movie ends up being fantastic, because I still don't know. I got to see it for myself. I still have a lot of doubts on the film. But I appreciate people like that, considering, like I said, 98% of the general audience seems to have loved it from last night, okay? And because of that, I do appreciate those people who come out against it and say, well, no, it really wasn't that good. That being their opinion, of course. It just, like I said, seems a little too good to be true. And I gotta actually wonder how many of these audience reactions are genuine. Like, you're seeing a lot of people who, on Twitter especially, or even, like I said, on any other social media like TikTok, like, I don't want to attack anybody. That's not what I'm trying to do. But as I'm sure in this community, a lot of you guys know who Soups is. There's a couple of others that come to mind. I'm just not, I don't want to go down that road. But just in general, a lot of these people are talking about how, believe the hype. The hype train is real. Everything that Warner Brothers and DC has been saying about this film is true. Yeah, Soups is cringe. I agree, Donovan. And it's just like a lot of these people, this community, are just willing to accept that this is what I have to do. I have to go on social media. My brand surrounds my content creation brand surrounds this community. I am built from comic books and this community in general. I have to be seen in the best eyes possible amongst these corporations. A lot of people use the term shilling, stuff like that. And I feel like there's been a lot of examples of that for this Flash film so far. I'll tell you right now, I'm never going to be one of those people. I am never going to do that. If I genuinely think something's good, it's good. If I genuinely think something's bad, it's bad. And I don't think people were being genuine yesterday night. I don't think people are very genuine in a lot of the comic book movies they see nowadays. Usually it is very, oh, this is the best piece of content I've ever seen. This is so amazing. I can't wait for the second, third, fourth, fifth. Blah, 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 blah. It's too much. And we do need to gauge these responses. We need to actually find out what's real, what's not. And we will only find out for ourselves. There can be a general consensus of what this movie holds and if it is good or not. But the only opinion that is truly going to matter is the one to yourself. Like, I'm even seeing people on Twitter who have big channels who are literally going off about how this movie is amazing, and if you don't think it is when it comes out, you're wrong. Give me a break. Come on. What are we doing here? Seriously? Like, it just, and this is a point I'm going to get to eventually, it just feels very, very weird that a lot of people are genuinely sitting here promoting a film that has, like I said, been in production hell for 10 years, and a guy like Ezra Miller in defending everything about him and what he has delivered to the movie. It just feels strange. Something is very off about this film. I know there are a couple people who watch me who do feel the same way, and you have the right to feel that way. So that's first and foremost. That's number one. Are the reactions genuine? I don't know. I'm more inclined to believe the people who are actually speaking out against the film, because it does show that they're not trying to gain anything from Warner Brothers, no clout or anything like that. So that's where I'll leave that one. Now, is Warner Brothers desperate? A piece of me absolutely believes Warner Brothers is desperate. I mean, this is pretty bold. Taking a movie such as The Flash and screening it, 2.5 months before the movie actually drops in theaters. Usually, that means the movie is really, really good. And the company has that much confidence in it. And over the past couple of months, you've seen James Gunn talk about it a lot. You've seen a lot of David Zaslav talking about it a lot, talking about how it's the greatest film that's ever been made, which once again, I don't see this happening, but you never know. And one has to wonder that if this movie is actually that damn good and it is being tested early for that reason, or because over the past year and a half or so, they've been longer than a year and a half, they have been struggling so much to get proper income, proper budgets, just anything that could make their company feel more lively than it currently does, that The Flash is a certain movie that they've put so many of their eggs in a basket for that now they have to push this movie as hard as possible. Let me make something clear. I don't think the movie is going to be terrible. I don't. But I don't think the movie is going to be amazing either. I just don't. Although, does that mean that the advanced screening is out of desperation or not? It's really hard to gauge what this potentially means. I've had a lot of conversations with some people, and I still say, I'm not sold. I'm not sold that this movie is everything that they say it's going to be. I can't stress this enough. What if I'm wrong? I have no problem admitting I'm wrong. All I want is good content. That's really all I want from DC. It's been a while since we've had something like that. But I don't feel like I'm wrong right now. There are just so many situations that we could go down with this movie that would make me feel like, why have they not even canceled this movie yet? I was a big advocator for the past couple of, maybe 6 to 8 months ago on cancel this movie. Bomb The Flash, never let it see the light of day, just end it. Can it? But clearly, it's survived the test of time. And, that is somewhat amazing. The fact that a movie that has been in development since 2014 has had a myriad of different writers, actors, directors, producers attached to the project, to finally getting Ezra Miller cast as the role in 2018, all of his misconducts and all the backlash the actor has received in this recent past. And then somehow in 2023, this movie is finally starting to see the light of day. I think that is quite amazing. You got to applaud a movie like this to have broken free from that. But the question is when the movie comes out, will it be worth it? We have seen so many movies where Warner Brothers, mind you, has claimed this is the best comic book movie of all time. They were even claiming something like that on a movie like Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, Emancipation, blah, 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 whatever movie it wants to have, whatever the title of that movie should be. They were even claiming that that was one of the greatest of all time. It's just, how can we take Warner Brothers at their word? And that leads me, it's a couple of points down, but it leads me into saying this. Zaslav has said that apparently he's watched the movie 3 times. I don't know. I don't know what you do with your time. I don't know what the guy does with his time. Do I find it a little hard to believe? Yeah, I do. I think Donovan Martin was just mentioning it here in the comments. Something about how The whole Tom Cruise thing was a huge red flag. I absolutely agree. There's actually a lot of evidence to show that Tom Cruise didn't actually watch the movie and reach out. I mean, there's a pretty solid article out there that goes against that piece of PR. And I just take it from Zaslav's situation, okay? He is now, okay, first of all, Discovery, okay? He owned or was CEO of Discovery. Moves in, becomes the CEO of Warner Brothers. Merges Warner Brothers and Discovery. So now he's got these two massive conglomerates on one plate. They designate DC to their own studio within Warner Brothers. This is a guy who's dealing with a company in Warner Brothers who is massively in debt. Does he have the time to sit here and watch the movie 3 times? I don't know the official runtime of The Flash, 2.5 hours, 2:45, I don't know. Does he have the time to dedicate that? I gotta be honest with you. The way I see Zaslav, I don't know the guy, but the person he is, the fact that he's a CEO of 2 of these businesses, even his first watch of The Flash, all I see is him sitting there on his phone doing business deals and writing emails while every now and then looking at the TV, at the screen. What just happened? What happened there? Oh, okay, perfect. Yep. So Dark Flash just died? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, fans will love that. I don't see him have watching this movie 3 times. Then again, I don't know him. Maybe he has. Maybe he's much more deeper into this process than any of us would be, because we would 100% be the type of people who would want to watch these movies in its full entirety, or, multiple times if it was that damn good. I mean, you even look at movies like The Dark Knight, okay? I understand that The Dark Knight came from a time that is much different than today. That's a 2008 film. We are talking, 15 years ago now? And superhero movies were just becoming as dominant as they are today. Like, we were on our first steps, technically. But with The Dark Knight, because that got pre-screenings and it was being praised, so much, it still never felt like Warner Brothers never took time out of their super busy days to end up saying, this is the best movie of all time. It's perfect. Best comic book movie ever made. Oh my God, you're going to love it. I watched it 3 times. It's going to be amazing. Christopher Nolan's a mad genius for creating the best comic book movie of all time. Tom Cruise loved it. You didn't hear that. I just feel like a lot of this is coming from a desperate place to make this movie look so big and so grand. And then when it actually comes out in theaters, it's almost going to feel like that's not the case at all. Or it's going to be like, okay, every single one of you who watched it on April 25th, why you lying? Why you lying? How much did Warner Brothers pay you? They sure are in debt, so how are they getting the money to pay you? I don't know. Yeah, I agree, Blobbles, 100%. They're trying too hard to make it look good. I agree. And I can't stress this enough. If it's good, it's good. And I'm happy that they made it good. But I'm not going to blindly sit here and void my opinion, my feelings on a film that I've had for a very long time because a bunch of people who, maybe get paid by these companies to say good things are saying good things about this movie that really a year ago we all thought was never even going to come out in the first place. So that's where I'll leave that. Now, next point. Ezra Miller. No, I'm not saying only people who speak out against the movie are genuine, but I'm saying in a world where 99% of people just praise any piece of mediocre content we get nowadays, those 1%ers usually have a good head on their shoulders and have a reason to give to you why maybe it isn't the best of products. So, yeah, Ezra Miller. I agree, Mike. I'm not in this I'm not in this cancel culture type of society. I don't really like it. I think it's pretty BS. But the fact that Ezra Miller is getting this weird second chance is weird. Like, what's this guy done? Had some weird, like, relationships. I don't want to say like dating relationships, but just a weird relationship with someone underaged. He's stolen things like alcohol, I'm pretty sure it was. There was that whole rumor of him having that gun farm. I don't know if that was true. Choke slamming a chick at a Comic-Con, throwing chairs at women and breaking their skulls open. I mean, this guy has not just been in the headlines for accusations. This guy's been in the headlines for literally being arrested by police because he has caused bodily harm to people. And yet, they're releasing a movie with the lead as that guy. Now, I'm not following the Jonathan Majors story. To be honest with you, I don't fully know what's going on. But from the small bits I've read, and let me know in the comments right now how wrong I am, but I don't think there's been anything that literally sticks to Jonathan Majors being an abuser. I don't know, but from what I've read, it does not seem to be the case. Yet his future is already in question. Or how about this is a lock for sure? This is one we all know for certain. Johnny Depp gets accused by Amber Heard and all of a sudden loses every future deal what he had in the making moving forward. And he gets canceled for accusations that were barely even true. It's very complex tie. It's very okay. So fair enough. 100%. I don't really know much about the Jonathan Majors. If it's gray, then I can't speak too much on it. Although Johnny Depp is definitely one of them. Yet we got Ezra Miller out here chucking chairs at people, and he still got a job. Now, I do agree that after this movie, he is probably going to get canned. Like, he's gone. He's done as the Flash. People haven't really been talking too much about the ending of the movie, so we don't really know how his story ends. And I'm not going to talk about any spoilers on here because I don't want to spoil anything. Although, with that being said, I mean, even the director, Andy Muschietti, just dodging anything that surrounds Ezra Miller. Talking about how, one of the best actors I worked with did all their stunts, blah, 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 loved working with Ezra. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, have we just forgot what he's done? And all this about how Ezra has given us the greatest performance in a Flash character ever. Look, I am a big supporter on being capable of separating the art from the artist. I think there are a couple of actors, actresses, musicians, producers, directors, whatever it may be, that you can take their work and separate it from the actual person and be able to recognize that what they accomplished at the time was really grand, but what they've done as a person in real life isn't so good, but I can appreciate the work they once did. Although we're in a situation where Ezra Miller did all this stuff and still last year came back for reshoots after doing all this stuff. It's odd. It's strange. And here's the thing. If you want to go to the theaters to support this movie, that's neither right or wrong. If you don't want to go to the theaters to support this movie, that's neither right or wrong. It does not matter. There's no right choice here. That's all opinionated. If you want to go see the movie in the theater, you go for it. Because I'm not just going to immediately say, oh, you're supporting Ezra Miller? No, that's not the case. That's not why you're going to see the movie. You're not vocalizing, yeah, I cannot wait to watch the guy who threw chairs at women's heads. That's not what you're doing it for. But it's not right or wrong. It doesn't matter what you want to do. If you want to support it in theater, you support it in theater. You don't want to support it in theater, you don't want to support it in theater. It's up to you. I just find it quite interesting how many, reaction, non-spoiler reviews of people literally sitting here and saying like, bro, Ezra Miller is so good. It's, I don't know, very strange. He's getting a second chance that, a lot of other people would never get in their life. People have been canceled for a whole lot less than he has. I actually, if anyone here is familiar with the Den of Nerds, Josh, which I'm sure a lot of you are, I was watching his live stream earlier and he made a fantastic point. He said, when a lot of these movies premiere, like for example, a lot of these bigger actors will show up on the premiere night of their films and watch it with the crowd, and the ones he used as example, he used like Tom Hardy and Black Adam. And then he also stated Ezra Miller, and he's like, if Ezra Miller did that, everyone would be running for their lives because they were feared for their own safety. And it's true. The fact that the main character of your movie, who is literally playing two versions of himself, if not potentially three, the star of your film is barely going to be promoted in this movie, outside of the movie, that is. It's just a really odd situation. But Diesel Demon, thank you so much. I just saw $2.20. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hope everyone is enjoying the live stream so far. And if you are, please hit that like button. I'd really greatly appreciate it. Just helps us branch out to everyone in this community so we can keep on growing. Now, loving the comments that are coming in. I still just got a little bit more I want to talk about, and then I'll start reading the comments. But what I do want to talk about next, the VFX and the CGI. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say it's the worst that I've ever seen, because it's not. Like, I'll be honest with you here. If I was capable of making VFX that looked like that, I'd be pretty damn proud of myself. I'd be pretty happy that I was capable of making something like that. Is it the best I've seen? Hell no. I've seen better CGI in 2005 than I have in 2023. This doesn't just go for The Flash, by the way. This goes for a lot of movies, even somewhat outside of the comic book genre. So, I think there are moments of the Flash film CGI and VFX that do look really damn good. But then there are moments that are like, dude, what the hell is this? For example, the thumbnail of this video. I'm sorry. I gotta keep using that photo. That looks rough. The Flash suits still look rendered. They don't look fully completed. And Sasha Calle as Supergirl, the suit looks okay, but her in the suit doesn't look real. Blobbles. It looks like a PS2 game. Yeah. I don't know. Donovan Martin. It's rough. It's weird. It's weird. And like a lot of the close-up shots of Ezra Miller's face when he's screaming, or close-ups on the mask and stuff, they still don't look completed. Like, it's just a really weird situation with this movie. And here's the thing. They keep claiming, oh, the VFX isn't done. The special effects aren't finished. And I understand that some movies don't even finish their VFX or their detailed touch-ups until a week before the movie releases. Thank you, digital technology, for being capable of fixing up things like that post-production so quickly and so easily. But I mean, we've been hearing this VFX excuse for like 4 months now. Oh, the VFX isn't done yet. Don't worry, it's coming. It's almost finished. We've had 2 trailers so far, and every single trailer, every moment, we've heard VFX isn't done yet. No. You can't blame bad CGI, because the VFX isn't done yet. When's it gonna be done then? How many more times do we have to hear VFX isn't done yet? It's almost like they're throwing out that excuse as if it's going to continue to make us feel like, oh, that's why it looks the way it does. That's why this picture looks like it could be the startup screen to Fortnite. You know, I don't know. You look at some of these pictures and they just look rough. Like, I'm going to find one right now, okay? I can find one right now. I'm not going to use the same photo. I'm not going to use the same photo I just did for the thumbnail, but I'm going to find one. You give me a moment here, and I'll put it up on the screen. I mean, like, I just don't know what I want to choose. Oh, AMD, thank you so much. $5.50. Really appreciate it. Love the donation. Thank you. Okay. You know what? For example, it is like not the worst thing I've ever seen in the world. I'm just saying though, like, why? What exactly? What is this? You know? Why? I don't get it. It just looks really strange with the yellow, like, kind of whiplash lightning bolt across his chest. The suit does not look rendered and real to the reality behind him. Don't even get me started on the cowl. It looks absolutely horrible. Just what is that? You know, guys, I don't know. There's really strange. Really strange. And hey, it is what it is. If the VFX ends up coming out, the movie is, you know, really good with its CGI, I'll accept it. I won't say, you know, this movie does not have the opportunity to, you know, change the way the CGI looks. But I will say, like, it doesn't look the prettiest. There's just something about it that, yeah, I agree. They're going to crunch it like No Way Home. There are so many moments in No Way Home that feel so like, ugh. Like, really? That's what you guys wanted to do for the final product? I feel like that's what they're going to do with this Flash movie. No doubt about it. We're already seeing it in the trailer. And, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But, next thing I want to talk about. So, I got a couple more points here. There's a couple good ones I really want to get off my chest. I'm going to save my opinions on this situation, like the film and stuff, until after. But we're going to go. Okay. Back to like the desperation of what Zaslav seems to be really hammering down with this movie. It's almost as if he's trying to prove to so many people, like companies in the Hollywood industry, that Warner Brothers and DC are in a very good spot right now, even though, like, really, they're not in the best of places. So, talking about how good this movie is, having everybody in Warner Brothers praise this film, talking about how he's seen it 3 times. The director, Andy Muschietti, talking about how Ezra Miller is one of the best that he has ever worked with. And, you know, just all these movements with this movie that they're making it seem desperate. It could 100% be because of the debt that this company is in. I mean, they owe over $50 billion. $50 billion. You know, not million. Million would still be absolutely horrendous. No, we're talking billion. And you got to ask yourself, will Warner Brothers ever go bankrupt? Which I don't really think will ever happen. I think Warner Brothers is literally too big, too old, and too prominent of a company that they would ever go bankrupt. Like, they would be given a lifeline. They would be saved somehow. Now, here's the thing, though, is that they owe $50 billion. I mean, it's not like this one Flash movie is gonna make up for the loss of money they had. It can help, but it won't make up for everything, especially when you have a movie like Shazam coming out. It's absolutely just bombing. Then Black Adam before that, which made more than Shazam, but really just did bomb, right? So there is a website called Macro Axis, and I looked it up, and I was looking at the Warner Brothers projections, and let me mind you, there's just a bunch of business science talk that I don't fully understand myself. It gets into like the nitty gritty details of businesses all around the world, and it gives you detailed reports of other social media sites or business analytic companies that dive into these bigger companies to essentially tell you exactly what is going on within the inner workings of said company. And they had Warner Brothers at a 60% bankruptcy rating. There's a 60% chance that Warner Brothers could go bankrupt. Now, once again, I don't think Warner Brothers will ever go bankrupt. I don't think it's going to happen. But what I think Zaslav could potentially be doing here, and I know some people are very against this, I'm not. I think Zaslav is dressing a lot of this up. Warner Brothers Discovery, brand new streaming service. The Flash movie's the best comic book film ever made. James Gunn is starting a 10-year DCU plan starting in 2025. Let's get some news on Superman. Because come summer of 2024, he's going to package all of this beautifully looking and sounding stuff, and he's going to just send over this company to Universal. I do genuinely think that they will be sold again to another company who has the money to like really do something with them. I am finding it very, 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 very much in confidence that Zaslav will not keep Warner Brothers all that much longer. I don't think he is the future. I don't think he's the CEO for the future, the duration of this company for too much longer. I think a lot of this is addressing. I think a lot of this is just, hey, look at this company. Look how good we're making it post Hamada or Sushihara era. And Do I have any buyers? Highest bidder? Okay, you take it. I'm not even saying that Universal will buy Warner Brothers, even though I do think it would be the most likely production company to do so. But I do think it is quite possible that it does happen. So I really wanted to get that off my chest just because of the desperation that really seems to be surrounding the Flash film and this company as a whole. Now, let's talk about... Okay. Let's talk about, really quickly, before I give you my thoughts on this whole situation, and then we get into some comments, some question and answer. This isn't necessarily Aquaman, or it's Aquaman related. It's not necessarily Flash related, but how are we dealing with this news that Amber Heard is still in Aquaman? You know what? I'm gonna put up a poll right now. Let's put up a poll. Let's do a poll. Let's start a poll. Let's put up a poll. Let's do a poll. Should we do a poll? Let's do a poll. Amber Heard in Aquaman. Duh. Perfect. And there's really only one answer here. Okay? There's really only one. But I'm going to ask the community. Amber Heard in Aquaman 2, unbelievable or ridiculous? Because either way, it doesn't matter. It's unbelievable and ridiculous. It's absolutely nonsense. This is how I think of it. You could sit here, right? All right, you got Joe and Brian, both movie stars. Joe says Brian has done A, B, C, all the way down to Z. He should lose everything. He's now been accused with no true, real, accurate, defined information. And Brian doesn't just get accused of A through Z, but he loses A through Z as well. All future movies, TV, productions, plans, promotions, whatever. As they go through trial, it's actually revealed that Brian is the victim and Joe is the one who should be accused of A through Z because Joe did it. But all of a sudden, after this trial passes, Brian is now slowly starting to come back to the screen. But with no repercussions at all, Joe gets to keep the roles they were in, even though they're the one who lied about Brian. That's literally what's just happening with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. That's literally what Amber Heard's situation is. She was capable of lying about a man, completely ruining his career for a brief time, but then capable of keeping her role as Mera in Aquaman 2. And I do not care at all how small her role is in that movie. She's still in it. She is still in it. And to me, that's a little ridiculous. That is pretty damn stupid. Now, I have a little bit of a theory here. I don't know how much weight this actually holds. But this is the situation. Peter Safran produced the first Aquaman movie. He produced both Shazam films. I don't know if he's producing The Flash, but he's also producing Aquaman 2. of these films, only Aquaman succeeded, and I am convinced that Aquaman succeeded because it was at a specific height of superhero movies, not just DC movies, superhero movies. I think there were a couple of years there where everybody would go see every single movie, no questions asked. So Safran's role as a producer has not really been the best within DC, yet he was given the co-CEO job. Anyways, it sounds as if he was actually on Amber Heard's side this whole time. Is there a possibility that Safran is trying to defend Amber Heard's role in this movie, that he did not want her cut? He wanted her to remain in DC moving forward, which honestly is just a really bad look. And I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not true at all. And thank God someone said it. Donovan, thank you. Pinning that. They should have got Amelia to replace Mara. But now Amelia Clarke is over in Marvel, so you lost your opportunity to do that. Yeah, the man is simping. I agree. I think there's something really odd with Peter Safran. I don't know. He just doesn't even have the face of a guy I would trust. I don't know. Take a look for yourself. Look him up. Something's really off about Safran and the whole situation with Amber Heard. I can't believe when they showed something for that movie, the fact that they even had the balls to show something for that movie, considering how bad it seems to be. I'm just shocked, though, that they would show something with her face connected to it. Seems a little weird. So, I just wanted to mention that because I thought that was pretty ridiculous that we have to still go through more controversy there. Okay, my honest opinions on The Flash and this film. Now, after this, we're gonna go some question and answer. Gonna get into the chat. But I do just want to give some of a summary for myself. What do I genuinely think of the Flash movie? Like I said, I'm very 50-50. I think genuinely there could be things that are really good about the film, but also I think the film could be a big mess. When I watched that trailer from yesterday, everything about it was executed the way you would want a trailer to be executed. The score was awesome. Whoever did the score for that trailer did such a damn good job. The way the trailer was set up, what it showed you who's involved, it showed you pieces of the conflict, and it showed you good, flashy action. 100% the trailer was a solid trailer. But it feels, once again, something that we've been going through for such a long time with these movies, is that these trailers look so damn good when they come out. They find a way to captivate you so well, but then when the movie actually comes out, you end up saying this was the biggest piece of garbage I've ever seen. It's happened so many times. And because of that, I don't think I can just simply trust this Flash movie. I can't. They're doing things that I simply would not do. Then again, not my vision, not my story. They can do whatever the hell they want. But as somebody who really loves these characters, loves these stories, loves this world, you know, if you were going to make this story, why wouldn't you just really make it based off the Flashpoint comic book? I mean, you shouldn't talk about how this is supposed to be based off of Flashpoint, but then make a completely different story with the only thing being similar is that Barry goes back to save his mother. If you wanted to just make a different story, just say you made a different story. Like, it's not really Flashpoint. You're missing huge keys and chunks to what Flashpoint actually is. Also, you know, I don't care what anyone says, I will forever be salty with the Henry Cavill stuff. I mean, you don't want this guy, you want this guy. You don't want this guy, you want this guy. You don't want this guy, you want this guy. You don't want this guy, you want this guy. You ask this guy to come back, and then you don't want this guy again. And, you know, the fact that he even came back from what it seems like to film scenes for the Flash film to, you know, once again retake his place as Superman for the future, and now they're just canning it. Like, they're not even showing Cavill in this movie. Like, I don't know, yeah, I agree. AMD, yeah, and Donovan, AMD, they screwed Cavill. I agree. And Donovan says Cavill was done so dirty. It was, and it's brutal. And you know, I got no problem with Sasha Calle's Supergirl coming into the picture. But it would have been such a great opportunity to, like, find a way to merge her with Henry Cavill's Superman. And now Henry Cavill's Superman can, like, train her up to be a Supergirl, a proper Supergirl. I don't know. I also got to be honest with a lot of you here, and I'm sure many of you know, I'm just not a fan of Michael Keaton. I don't love Michael Keaton as Batman. I got no problem with Michael Keaton, but Michael Keaton as Batman is not my thing. I don't really think he's all that great of a Batman. I don't really like those older aged Batmans. I have tried to watch The Batman from 1989 so many times, and I just cannot do it. When I watched it as a kid for the very first time when I was like 6 or 7, didn't like it. When I watched it when I was 15, did not like it. And when I gave it a shot again when I was 20, I couldn't even get through it. It's just not my type of Batman, and Michael Keaton is not my Batman. And I gotta be honest with you, that stupid "let's get nuts" line, oh God, I could feel the cringe pour from my facial pores out of my face, down my chest, seep into my feet as it traveled all the way back up to my face and just created a vicious cycle. It is so bad. I just, in this is just what it feels like. It just feels like nostalgia-based moments, which is a lot of what we are getting. You know, the Spider-Man No Way Home, think about it like this. That movie made, maybe I'm wrong, but it made upwards of $2 billion in the box office. And it did really well in theaters, of course. It had people talking, okay? It gave us what we wanted in Garfield and Maguire, Willem Dafoe, Alfred Molina, everybody else. But then, what? 4, 5 months later, that movie was not spoken of anymore. You still see people here and there mention it, but you really don't hear that many people talk about it anymore. Then you compare it to something like The Batman with Robert Pattinson. That was a Batman with a original type idea. Something that we really haven't seen in a Batman on film before. The closest relation it has is the Dark Knight trilogy, and yet it was still very different. But even a year later, a year and a half later, people are still talking about that movie because it's original and it offers you some solid, you know, content. It gives you something to talk about for a long time. Nostalgia is great in moments. It's fantastic, you know, when you're in a theater watching it on the big screen. But how much does it actually hold up for the future? And I have said this for this movie even 2 years ago. The nostalgia is great for the moment, but it will not hold up for the future. And I do feel like that is what, more than anything, if this movie's good, if this movie's bad, if this movie's mediocre, no matter what, I just don't see this movie being a long-lasting talking point for the future. It is just going to be a movie. It's going to be a fun ride that you can say, oh yeah, remember that movie? Yeah, it wasn't bad. Or it's going to be, man, remember how much of a mess that movie was? Ugh. So, it is what it is. I have so many more thoughts on this movie, but really it would just be me going on more of a negative rant than I already have seemed to be doing for the past 55 minutes. So I'll leave it at that. Those are my genuine opinions, but let's look at some of these comments. Let's get into the comments here, guys. Let's see what you guys are saying. All right, I'm going to scroll up a little bit here because you guys have had some good discourse, and I'm kind of feeling left out. So let's do this. All right. Hope you guys are all enjoying. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's get more people in here. Let's get more people part of this conversation. You know what? And while I'm looking at the comments, I'm going to end this previous poll. Let's start a new poll. Okay. Let's do this one. There you go. Let me know what you guys think of this one. Can I vote? No, I can't vote. Okay. Yes, no, undecided. Wow. I got to be honest with you. I thought there was going to be a lot more. Oh, it's tied now. 40-40. Okay. Okay. I'm going to wait till there's more no's, and then I'm going to end the poll. I'm just kidding. Okay. So, yeah. Controller Akimbo, that is a very good point. They canceled Gina Carano for less. Amber assaulted someone. It's insane. Yeah. It's just so like Warner Brothers priorities are truly not there. No matter how they want to sugarcoat it or make it seem to you, they're not there. They're backwards, you know? I can't understand it. It does not make sense to me. Yeah, weird. I could say so much on that Gina Carano. I don't want to go down that road, but I could not agree more with you. And Claymores, thank you so much for the $11, brother. That is so nice. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the animated Flashpoint film. Personally, I loved it. One of my fave DC animated films. Yes, 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 and yes. One of the best DC animated films they've ever made by far. I think that film in their own way was to like kind of change the history of the new DCAU or whatever weird code names these movies have, because once that movie came out, it began the new 52 animated universe. I'm not a fan of the new 52 animated movies and that storyline. That movie, the Flashpoint film, is the last DC animated film I can remember like absolutely loving. Now, of course, what came out after that, there was Assault on Arkham, which is a tie-in, to the Batman Arkham games. That's a fantastic movie. But when it comes to the DC animated connected universe, that movie is impeccable. Absolutely love it. I love the comic book too. Very accurate to the comic book. Just all the choices they made for the Flashpoint comic book and animation is so good. It's so unfortunate we could not see a literal retelling of that in film form. Like, imagine having Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and Jason Momoa's Aquaman being pitted against one another in this makeshift world that Barry accidentally created, and then having Jeffrey Dean Morgan play Thomas Wayne, Batman. God, it would have been so good. So good I could almost taste it. God damn it. Okay, let's see what else we got. Yeah, Anna Lacandro and Hannah, if I keep seeing this Michael Keaton love support, I'm gonna have to block both of you and remove you from my channels. I don't ever want to see that support for him ever again. You understand me? Good. Okay. Controller Akimbo, the Batman was extremely overrated. Genuinely think there might be some truth to that. I love the Batman. I do actually really love that movie. I think it is in a top 5 of movies for me. Let me actually just pin that comment for you really quickly. Although I will say where the overrated portion of that film actually may come from is the fact that everybody not just talked about it, but praised it against other Batman films, as if other Batmen and other Batman films did not do good things themselves that even the Batman didn't do. For example, the Dark Knight trilogy is filled with so many amazing Batman moments. Not a fan of them, but Michael Keaton's Batman has a lot of favorable and actually pretty cool moments. If you were a Batman fan back then, there are things that Batman and Batman Returns does for Batman fans. And once again, there are things that the Batman movie does for Batman fans, but a lot of people acted as if the Batman is the true Batman variation, and any other Batman that has been done has failed to succeed where this movie did, and that is just simply not true. So I do think there is truth to Batman being a little overrated. The Claymores, Batman Returns was amazing as well. Those original Batman films plus Batman animated series made me fall in love with the Bats. Yeah, there's always going to be something for us fans that are, essentially going to connect us to being fans of these characters. For example, for me, it was The Dark Knight. More so the Dark Knight trilogy, but the Dark Knight is what really got me into the Batman, right? So pretty much at the end of the day, we don't all gotta love the same things, but whatever it is that gets you into the same characters as one another, that's all that really matters, That's all that matters. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, I'm good, AMD, don't you worry. Could have been worse. They might have said Val Kilmer. Hey, at least Val was better than George Clooney. That's all I'll say about that one. That is all I will say. Yeah, Josiah the Brain, I am not a fan of New 52, period. I agree. I just think New 52 made some really odd decisions with characters. Once again, there is no right, there is no wrong. I know a lot of people like to talk about comic book accuracy. The only comic book accuracy that exists is the comic book that you are trying to create from. Other than that, comic book accuracy is really kind of just, it's not always a real thing. Although, with, the New 52, they just did things that are like why? Like, for example, if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. My latest DC character history, Black Mask. The thing that made Black Mask so amazing is the fact that he was, oh, and by the way, Hannah, thank you so much, 550. Long live back, Keaton. You can keep your money. No thanks. Goodbye. How do I refund? I'll figure it out later. But for example, Black Mask, the whole thing that really kept his character really in touch with the Batman DC world is that he was primarily a mobster, a guy who is mysterious. You never really know who he is, but he controls a piece of Gotham. But all of a sudden in New 52, they say, oh yeah, let's make him like supernatural. Let's give him like this really cool black mask that he can like control the minds of people. Why does everyone need that? Not everyone needs to have a super crazy special power. And I just found that the New 52 went overboard with power scaling. I got no problem with people being overly powerful. I do like that. But giving powers to people who didn't always need it. New 52 had moments where it was kind of interesting, like the whole crime syndicate storyline. But other than that, it just wasn't really the greatest. All right. Don't worry, Hannah. I'm still going to find a way to refund you your money. I'm still going to find a way. Blasphemous. All right. Yeah, once again, Claymores, I don't know much about New 52, but the art looked cool whenever I saw it. Yeah, there are 100% things about the New 52 that are solid. There is. Although it's just like storytelling, it could be way too hard to follow. It almost felt like storylines were finishing either way too quick with barely any explanation or taking way too long to answer questions. And I do think that might have been a little bit of a problem when the New 52's continuity did not last as long as some of these other continuities. Like, look at pre-New 52, what I call the modern age, which is my favorite age of comic books for DC. That lasted from what, 1982 to 2011? That's a long time. That's almost 30 years. And there are some beautifully crafted stories. Then again, they still had events that kind of changed certain things and dimensions and stuff. But overall, it generally stayed the same. It's just, I don't know, comic book storytelling has hit this fast-paced era, just like how kind of movies are today. It's like, now, sequels, reboots, remakes. Comic books are kind of in the same situation. Josiah the Brain says, where'd the comment go? Come on, YouTube. What's going on here? What's going on here? There it is. Whenever people say they don't like Batman or Superman, I ask them why, and they give me some really crap reasons. Yeah, because there's no reason to dislike these characters. There's no real reason to like the grandfathers of superheroes. I mean, a lot of the hate that I personally think comes from Batman and Superman, why people hate them, it's as simple as this. It's because their favorite superhero will never be as prominent and popular and special as Batman and Superman. All right. Donovan, what did you say here, pal? I like some new 52 stuff, and recently I begun the new Dawn of DC Superman run, and it's great so far. Heard really good things. I heard recently that pretty much anybody who touches Superman, like writing-wise, has done a really good job. You got to let me know what you think of it when you finish it, but I've heard it's solid. All right, all right. Hit me with questions, guys. Whatever you want to ask, whatever you want to talk about, let me know. Put it in the comments. We'll do it. We'll do it up. No one's saying The Flash will end up with 100% Rotten Tomatoes, but we have enough proof from scoopers like Viewer Anon that isn't WW. Oh, yeah, Wonder Woman 84 again. Probably end up with 85% critic score like the Batman. Maybe. I gotta be honest with you, though. I'm still not sold on it. I would not be surprised if this movie drops and it's like, oh, yeah, 48% on Metascore on IMDb. I gotta stick to my guns here. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I really just don't see it fully happening. New 52 Superman was not Superman. that was super jerk. Yeah, he has moments in the New 52 that's like, damn, who is that man? He definitely is a little, I shouldn't even say a little, he's a lot more aggressive in the New 52. I don't mind him in New 52. I also don't love him. You know what? I'll tell you what I really don't like about the New 52, and maybe people will disagree, but I don't like the whole Superman Wonder Woman relationship. That's not my thing. It's not one of my favorite things about the Superman Wonder Woman friendship relationship stuff. I don't really like that. I just think it's too generic. What's the offspring of a Superman Wonder Woman? It's just another strong, powerful kid that comes from them. I don't know. Just never really been a fan of it. I think they could do much better. I've always been a Batman Wonder Woman fan. Probably always will too. But yeah, overall, he was kind of a jerk in the New 52. He had moments in New 52. I thought there were some cool things, but no, I agree. I do agree. Blobble says, I kind of understand why people hate Batman because he's super oversaturated. Yeah. I mean, he still sells well, though, and they get away with making content for him, but that is because generally, when they make Batman content, it does often end up being pretty good. So if you own a corporation like this with a character who makes you money, why not keep doing it? Then again, your oversaturation, there's truth to it. Because 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I would have sat here and told you there is no way at all we will ever see a time in our culture where we get 2 live action Batman movies that don't take place in the same universe. And as long as James Gunn's universe actually happens, we're going to get more than likely 2 Batman movies 6, 8, 10, 12 months apart from one another. If that's not oversaturation, I don't know what is. And I do think that will show the oversaturation, because I do honestly think one Batman movie will highly outsell the other. And it's going to be really interesting to see which one does better. Claymore says DC Dual Force is releasing in a few weeks. It's a DC card PC game. Seems like it'll be similar to Hearthstone. I have never even heard of this. Is it similar to that Marvel card game they've released? Or I think that's like a phone app game. Maybe, never mind. You know what? I'll look it up. I'm gonna look it up. That's probably the best thing to do right now. Let's see. Oh, this looks cool. I'm a sucker for something like this. Is it just PC? Let me know in the comment when you get this if it's just PC, because that looks kind of neat. Interesting. Favorite Batman story ever? Oh my goodness. Favorite Batman story ever. So many to choose from, but I can only pick one. The funny thing is as I've been sitting here thinking about it, I actually haven't had to think. I know what it is, but I'm still thinking because maybe there's something else there. But I have my answer. It's got to be The Long Halloween. And frankly, what comes after. Dark Victory, and blanking on the third part of it. But anyways, yeah, The Long Halloween, probably my favorite. If it's not my favorite, it's in the top 3 Batman stories for me of all time. Although it's funny, the art is nowhere near my favorite. I am not a lover of the art for that comic book. Do I think it's unique? Yep. And do I think it's very defiant off of the guy who drew it? You will always remember him for that comic book. But overall, it's not my favorite art, but the story is so damn good and has influenced so many Batman stories for the future. So yeah, for now, I'll go Long Halloween. Hannah says, when I was little, I always thought Superman and Wonder Woman were meant to be together because of their outfits. Yeah. I can see why. Both blue and red and kind of like that American feel to it. I completely understand. But you also did follow up that comment with a comment saying, but it's for sure Batman and Wonder Woman. Yeah, I think it's actually kind of hard choosing between Batman and Wonder Woman and Batman and Catwoman. Now, I know a lot of people could easily just be like, no, it's Batman and Catwoman. I've never seen it that way. I've always liked of the special kind of connection that they had in the cartoons because clearly they liked each other, but I also like their differences of mentality and attitude that could lead to people like that to be together, and we've seen them together before even in comic books. So yeah, I don't hate it. I actually love it. I would possibly even take it over Batman and Catwoman. Superman and Wonder Woman feel so forced. Batman and Wonder Woman is like a guy acting like he doesn't care about her, but she knows exactly. She knows he cares. Pretty much. And they featured that a lot in the cartoon. They made sure to really hammer home on that. Marvel Snap and DC Dual Force are very different. Snap is fast, 3-minute games, while DC Dual Force will be longer. PC first, but they said mobile version coming later. Cool. Okay, I'll keep my eye on it. I will I'll make sure to see what the game's all about. Yeah, that's another great one. My fave Batman story, Court of Owls, hands down. I agree. Court of Owls is a timeless tale. It's one of the most iconic Batman comics to ever be created. And weirdly enough, one of the most iconic comics to not have a live action film about them. Of course, they have a video game. They have a cartoon about it, I believe, but no live action. I think it would be really good for them to get a live action. I think Matt Reeves' Batman universe would be perfect for the Court of Owls, but we'll have to see what they do because it really doesn't sound like that's what they're doing right now. Unless they're saving it for 3. I don't know. AMD says, I was exposed. First time for Court of Owls was the Gotham show. Oh, yeah. Yeah. With Ben McKenzie. Yeah. Did they do Court of Owls in that show? Oh my god, they did. I just can't really remember the story. I can't even remember it. I can see bits of it, but yeah, Gotham. Yeah, they did. Okay, all right. Um, Gotham was a show that the first season, I was like, all right, I'll let them do their thing. Then season 2, I was like, okay, this is getting stranger by the episode, but whatever. And then, yeah, Blobbles, that sure was a show. Yeah, season 3 is where it lost me and I stopped watching. Once again, comic book accuracy. You do what you want. If you want to tell an original story, go for it. Not every original story is going to be for everyone, and it wasn't for me, although they were clearly catering to some audiences because it lasted, what, 6 seasons? 5 seasons? It did well, so do you. Yeah, the guy who played Penguin did really well. I can't remember his name right now. I'm going to look it up because he did do really well. Robin Lord Taylor. I am surprised that this guy has really not been in anything since. I mean, he, in my opinion, is a really good actor. The last thing I remember seeing him in was You. I think that was like You season 1 or something, and you see him briefly in season 2. That's the last time I've ever seen him in something. I'm surprised he hasn't done more. All right, what are you guys saying? What else you got for me here? What else you got? Let me look something up quickly. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Josiah, what did you say? My favorite Batman story is Batman War on Crime. Very underrated Batman comic. And some of the best artistry you'll ever see. I mean, you can't go wrong with Alex Ross when he is drawing your story. I believe that followed up Superman what was that Superman comic called? It was I gotta look it up. Peace on Earth. Superman Peace on Earth. That's what the Batman followed up. And once again, I mean, Paul Dini as a storyteller, you can't go wrong with that. Look what Paul Dini's done for us. Batman animated series and the Superman animated series. That also goes with Bruce Timm as well. So, yeah, great story. Agreed. Yeah, Gotham didn't have Batman until the very end. I didn't watch the episode. I just looked it up on YouTube because I wanted to see how Gotham ended. And the suit was awful, but that is 100% because of the budget of a show like that. They're not going to give you the best thing in the world. Very, it wasn't CW, was it? It was, no, it wasn't CW, but in general, very CW like. Like, if they were to give Batman a suit in the CW, they would literally end up saying, like, oh, yeah, this is all we can give you. So, you know. But, yeah, not a great ending at all. Just really, not the best of costume designs either. Look it up if you haven't seen it. It's not good, though. All right. I agree. That was something that really bothered me about the show, too. It really bothers me how literally all of the villains are around before Batman. Yeah, very strange. Like, I can understand if you want to say, like, some villains are around before Batman. Like, maybe, you know, I'll just spitball. I'm not saying they have to, but, you know, oh, Bane or Scarecrow, you know, Poison Ivy. I don't know. And maybe they, you know, kind of experience their life as a villain before they fully become the villain we know as Batman's villain. But literally, excuse me, every villain was created before Batman even came around. His rogues gallery was completed before he can even don the cape. So, yeah, really strange. Ron says, did you read Batman in the Imposter graphic novel? No, I haven't. The artwork looks really unique as well, actually. I want to read it. Actually, let me quickly look right now how much it's going for on Amazon. Let's see. Because I might purchase this. Okay, $30. That's not bad. Look at some of the artwork. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it looks neat. I don't know. I'm kind of a sucker for, like, when Batman's, let me show you what I'm looking at here. I'm kind of a sucker when Batman's, like, kind of bat symbol and eyes kind of glow up. Like, that's pretty cool. I like that. I'm into that. That's pretty neat. Looks very gritty, very grounded. Yeah, I gotta check it out. I haven't gotten into it yet, though. I've heard about it, heard a lot about it, but yeah, haven't read it yet. I will eventually. I just looked up the Gotham suit. Definitely not great. Yeah, that's something else. Let's look that one up too. Yeah. Definitely not a good suit. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Not pretty. Look at that thing. Oof. That, guys, George Clooney's Batsuit might be better than that. That is rough. That is a rough, oh, dude. Like, okay, the legs, the leg gauntlets, the boots, that actually might be okay. The chest piece is absolutely terrible. And the mask, I just don't think is it either. It is just not good. Do not like that. Sorry. Not going to let that one slide. Oh, it's horrible, eh? The tone of the story is very similar to the recent Batman movie. Oh, okay, well then I might like it, because I like that tone personally. Yeah, Gotham's Batsuit looks like a Halloween costume. Hey, if you rolled up on me with that suit on during Halloween, I'd let that one slide. I dab me up, bro. That's sick. Good for you. But like, we're talking about a budget, you know, a big budget movie, TV, doesn't matter. Nope, don't like that one. Not a fan. Makes me want to dunk bleach on my eyes. LOL. Yeah, and you know what? It's even the CW in general. A lot of Oh, okay, Ron, I see what you're saying. I didn't mean the imposter being horrible. I was the Gotham Batsuit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, okay, that makes sense then. Yeah, a lot of the CW outfits though are really, really bad, and I guess it just translated over to Gotham, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, a lot of these TV shows don't get the biggest of productions, so it is what it is, but it's just, some of it's just rough. Some of it's terrible. Josiah, could you do a tier list on the DCEU suits? My favorite is definitely Dr. Fate. Yes, I can. And let me write that down so I do not forget it. And keep that in my memory. There we go. DCU suit tier list. Perfect. I'll remember that one for later. I will also let you guys know too, about a couple days ago, I released my video on what I would do for a Superman movie if I were to make a Superman film. I am going to try and make it a series. I'm going to make a video on what I would do if I made a Batman movie and, you know, other types of characters out there if I was in charge of them or had to make films about them. I'm going to try and keep that going as well, because I know someone asked me to do it for Batman, or just to do more of them, and I told them I was going to do Batman. I think I'm going to do more. I'm going to try and do as many characters as possible. All right. The CW Flash suit is pretty good. Yeah, it's definitely the best looking one of them all. I think the Green Arrow suit is okay too. I think they could have greened it up a little bit more, like made it a little brighter, although maybe that would take away from the vibe that Green Arrow was trying to be Batman, so I understand. Yeah, the show sucks though. Dude, the CW Flash, let me ask right now, why is it every time that a new villain popped up in the city, Flash would try to go take him down, but he would always get beaten in like the worst ways, the stupidest ways possible. And he'd always, like, you know, he'd be down on one knee. He's on the intercom and he's like, guys, I can't do it. He's too strong. Oh, my leg. I don't think I can run. And then you'd always have some stupid line from Iris, and she's like, Barry, you have to get up. You have to run. You can do it. We can do it, Barry. We're the Flash. Shut your mouth. Shut up. You ain't the Flash. He's the Flash. Yeah, sure. maybe in these later seasons, everyone's become the Flash. Sure, I don't know. I stopped watching the show in like season 3. But I could not stand that. I hated it so much. And it's like all of a sudden, right after that, he was just like, oh, yeah, run, Barry, run. Damn, she's right. Okay. Zoom, gone. Either return back to base to get a weird random weapon that helped them beat the villain, or just found the courage to beat the villain. Strange. Don't like it. Don't like it. We Are the Flash. I hated it. Run, Barry, run. I could not stand it, guys. And honestly, say what you will about the storytelling, whatever it is, it's literally that, like, those tropes, those common lines and stuff is what got me out of that show, why I stopped watching that show. Yeah, especially, like, I swear, Claymore's, like, Cisco, dude, half the time that character in the show, all he was doing was legs crossed on table, eating chips. Like, oh yeah, Barry, 5th Street and 24th Avenue, he's over there. Oh, looks like we lost his transponder, we can't find his location. Iris, you want to talk to him, get his motivation up again? Like, it was just like, dude, what am I watching? The CW for you, though. CW. Yeah, Josiah. CW Flash couldn't even keep up with a car. That's so stupid. Flash is supposed to be faster than light. Yeah, once again, one has to wonder if the budget had something to do with that film, TV show. There's obviously not a lot they could have done. But, I mean, put in some effort. Try something. Do what you got to do to make him look all-time powerful. I don't know. Just a suggestion. So many stupid things that show did. Like, he'd even get hit by things that nobody should hit him with. I don't know. I'll tell you this right now. There's only one character. There's one character, and you might be like, oh, biased take. Come on. But I'm going to say it. There's only one character who should be able to hit Barry full speed. And that's because he knows him so well. And that's Batman. And also, we need to make a humanized character look badass like Batman. But, like, I mean, I don't know. I'll leave it at that. Might get flamed for that, but I said it. Yeah, I remember that too. I remember season 1 and 2 being good, and then I stopped watching. Yes, so did I. No, I watched a bit of season 3. But I remember season 1 being very interesting because season 1 had the newspaper where, like, he vanished in time. You don't know what happened to him. And now I don't watch the show, so I don't know if that's ever going to get cleared up. And I thought the whole character break from, oh my goodness, what's his name? The scientist guy who wore the glasses, but you end up finding out he was the villain. I just thought, like, some of that stuff was kind of neat. Once again, even Arrow had this problem, though. Seasons 1 and 2 were solid. Then all of a sudden, they just got crazy. Like, season 3, they so desperately wanted Green Arrow to look like a Batman character that they gave Green Arrow one of Batman's biggest arch enemies of all time. They even introduced Ra's al Ghul's daughter, and they even made the idea that Ra's al Ghul wanted Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, to be the next Demon's Head. Even though we all know the only person he wants as the next leader of the League of Shadows is Bruce Wayne. So, lack of creativity. That's just really what CW brings to the table. And to the fact that they still think they're catering to these preteens or teens who still want to watch shows like Gossip Girl and stuff. That's really what they were trying to do. CW brought the best show, One Tree Hill, and that's it. I mean, I like Gossip Girl too, but yeah, I get it. Yeah, Batman literally operates on a scientific genius mind. Yeah, like, he's a huge high-level intellect. I think, like, on the scale of 11, Batman is at, like, an 8 or a 9. So, like, come on, man. I know Arrow can be smart, but he's not that smart. Arrow was a Batman show at its core. Yeah, that's the problem. They didn't try to make it Arrow. They literally tried to make it as if Bruce Wayne trained for 7 years with a bow and arrow. You know, that's really what they did with that show. It is what it is, but Ron says, I'm really happy CW isn't making DC shows that much anymore. It's only a matter of time Gotham Knights gets canceled. Dude, that show should have been canceled when the people pitched this show. I can't believe it got greenlit. Absolutely crazy to me. Insane. That it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Look, the Gotham Knights video game is not even really that good, but when you have to compare two Gotham Knights type content that have come out at the same time, Gotham Knights video game is so much better than the show. Even if you're not a video gamer, I would suggest playing the game instead of watching that crap. Oh god. Oh man. Isn't Gotham Knights about lost the comment. That's great. There it is. Isn't Gotham Knights about like Joker's kids trying to kill Batman or something? Yeah, I don't know. It's so strange. Like apparently one of the girls in it is supposed to be Joker's daughter. And then the guy leading the team, I think there's even a one point in trailers, you see him with a sword on his back. He's supposed to be the son of Bruce Wayne, but it's not a Robin. Like it's not like a Dick or a Jason or a Tim or a Damian. I don't know. The show is just weird. I don't know where they came up with this idea. Once again, original content, you do you, but not everything needs to be made. And this is certainly one of those things that doesn't need to be made. All right. I stopped watching Arrow when they started making secondary characters into super skilled heroes out of nowhere with no training. Yep. I mean, what happened in Arrow? I mean, he got Roy Harper. He didn't last all that long, but he was a good character for the time. Then all of a sudden his sister became well-trained. And then didn't they well-train... Diggle was already well-trained. But didn't they well-train Felicity somehow? Oh, God, Felicity. Just a terrible memory in my mind. What started off as such a really good character ended up being absolutely terrible. My God. Memory lane and not the best of memories. I think it's Batman's kid and Joker's kid teaming up, something like that. The Court is the villains of the show too. Okay, so basically someone wrote the video game and then someone maybe close to the team was like, I'm going to make this into a show but completely change the characters in every way. This is the problem though. The Court of Owls, okay? They... super cool characters and villains for the comic book. A group of villains that I think a lot of people have now wanted to see in live action and other forms and sources of media. But they are butchering them in terrible projects. Whereas the Court of Owls, I think today, when it comes to Batman villains, are being seen like a Joker-esque type villain, whereas the Joker is someone who's very important to the mythology of Batman. The Court of Owls can be seen the same way. That's how important they are, but they're just using them in BS shows. I think that's a huge problem with it. Yeah. I remember her. She's the reason why I stopped watching Arrow. God, I know. Once again, the comment following up. AMD, Felicity, they destroyed her. Yeah, just... ugh, terrible character. She was solid at first, but terrible after. What Justice League run would you take inspiration from for an animated TV show? I would do the 80s JLA, JLI, and JLE. It's a good question. What Justice League run would you take inspiration for an animated TV show? Well, it wouldn't be New 52. It would not be New 52. Man, I don't know. Honestly, I would probably do my favorite era of Justice League of America 2005 era. The early, mid, late 2000s. I love those stories. Those are my favorite sources of DC content. That's probably my favorite comic books in general, is the 2000s era. So probably somewhere within there. That's where I would go. But there's so much option. There's even like Elseworlds you could choose from, other types of stories that don't fall within like a canonized DC universe. Yeah, good question. I might have to think about that one a little bit more. All right, guys, I got another 5 minutes, so if there's any other questions you want to ask, let me know. Hit that like button if you haven't hit it yet. It helps this video get around to everybody so we can grow this community and make these live streams a lot bigger. Be much appreciated. But yeah, anything else you got, let me know. Hope you all enjoyed the stream. Hope this has been fun for you. Go. Yeah, just you know what, might as well use this. Yeah, agreed, Josiah. Early 2000s JSA, JLA were so connected. Yeah, I love that era of DC. So much fun, that era. They just did so many things that I loved, and I loved the artwork, Jim Lee being involved in nearly everything. Just great moments from that era. But might as well, I'll tell you a little bit what's coming on the way. So for the next couple of videos I got planned, I got a podcast that I'm hoping to be able to upload tomorrow, where Jordan and I do talk about Superman's 85th anniversary, and we do get into some fun conversations there, so that should be a good episode. I'm also going to make more videos on what I would do if I was helming a specific character's DC film. I'm going to try and make more DC character history, since a lot of people seem to enjoy them, and I've been getting some requests on certain oh my god, I'm blanking, certain characters to make videos about for that, so I'm going to do some of those. And Blobble says, what does Joker eat? You know what, I'm just going to Google that right now. I'm sure someone's already asked that, because now I'm curious. If not, maybe we make a video on that. What does Joker eat? Okay. It literally says, like, he eats, but it says there's really a lack of evidence of showing what he really eats. But it says that it's claimed that the venom in his system, after turning him into the Joker, literally warped his mind so that he only feeds on human suffering. Really makes sense for a character like the Joker, considering that he is completely evil and causes harm to anyone in his path. So that would make sense. But I think, like, in cartoons, maybe in comic book strips, you see him, like, I know for a fact in the animated series Batman, he 100% eats a bowl of cereal. I do remember seeing something like that before. Elliot says fish or children, obviously. Yeah. He's a weird character, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's something terrible. But yeah, other than that, guys, that's what's really going to be coming on the way. More DC movie talk, like what I would make if I was in charge. A couple more DC characters, a podcast episode, hopefully tomorrow. I'm going to be getting Jedi Survivor, so might even make something about that. I'll talk more about DCU projects when more details come out. If there's anything I want to speculate on, I will definitely do so. But other than that, everyone, I think this was a good stream. This was fun. I want to do more of these. I'm going to try my best to do more of these. And yeah, that's it for this one, everyone. So until next time, I will talk to each and every one of you very soon. Thank you for being here. Peace.